trying to help other people to go through. Yeah, we might need to do that. Good call. But why do we have lack? I want to talk about the gift of lack. The gift of lack, because nobody talks about the gift in lack. You guys know that lack creates desire. Let me say it again. Lack creates desire. Like the way you know that you need to eat is because you have hunger pains, right? So lacking in food is what creates desire to need to go get something to eat. And so a lot of times we ask for more purpose, but then if we're honest, we get met with more problems. Y'all ever realize that? You ask for more patience and people starting to get on your nerves, right? But what is purpose? Purpose is a solution to a problem. Let me say it again. Purpose is a solution to a problem. You can't think about any wealthy person that doesn't solve a significant problem. Or you can't talk about any successful business that doesn't bring value to a market, right? So no problems, no purpose. So here's the truth. More problems just means more. But the problem that exists between us being able to take hold of problems and turn those problems into purpose is usually because we don't have the right perspective. So when I started this whole thing and say that you are what you're looking for, is what I'm trying to help you guys to understand that sometimes when we have desire in our life and we wait for that desire to be met so that we can ultimately go forward into our destiny, we're not realizing that what I lack, I have the ability to become. When my father died 10 years ago, it ripped a hole in my family's life. My father was the superhero of our deal, man. He was the man that all held us together. I always ask myself the question, I don't know what's harder, not having a father or having a great one and having him taken away prematurely, right? And for years, y'all, when my dad died, I went on this hole of trying to fill this void internally with a bunch of things, partying, drinking, women, all these different things, because I was trying to fill the pain that I felt. The truth is that what I was trying to fill because of what I lacked, I had a misguided perspective in realizing, and what I didn't realize is that my father's death, let me say it this way, because this is going to be deep. My father had to die for so many other people to live. If it wasn't for my father's death, I would not be on this call with y'all right now. My degree is in aeronautical engineering, fixing planes. I ain't never touched a plane engine one day in my life, but that's what I graduated with. But at my graduation, my father died, and to me was one of the greatest gifts of our life. Not losing my father, but what I gained from how I responded to that lack. I'm saying all that, Robert, to say one thing. As we walk through this journey, this conversation today, if you did not have the lack in your life, you wouldn't have the desire. And if you don't have desire, you can't have a powerful why. Every single person on this call, your why, if you really look at the foundation of your why, it is really coming from a lack in your life. I didn't really have finances growing up. I saw my family struggle. So my desire now is to create financial wealth and financial freedom. I didn't have a stable home, so now I desire to be married or to be with somebody that I can spend the rest of my life with. I didn't have a great father or mother, so now I desire to be the best father or mother that I can. Every single lack in our life, if we really look at it, is an opportunity for a greater why. But the problem that persists is that sometimes we focus so much on what we've lost that we don't realize what we still have and what we can gain from what we've lost. And that's what I'm here on this call to help you guys with today. I'm gonna help you to look at your why in a whole different way, because sometimes we can end up mentioning our why and it just sounds good. But I don't want you to just be clear about your why. I want you to be connected and convicted by your why. That's where we're going to go today. There's 3 things that you got to have. Write this down for me really quick to your why. You need to have clarity. I need to know what that thing is. You also need to be connected to it. And I'm going to talk about how you become connected to your why. And you also have to be convicted by it. A lot of people have clarity. Very few people have connection. And very little people have conviction. So we're going to talk about that. But Rob, write that down. I am what I'm looking for. I'm going to break that down for you here in a minute, all right?
Well, quick, you said what I lack, I have the ability to...
What you lack in your life is an indication of what you are the solution to, right? If you don't have lack, there is no way to have desire. Desire comes from lack, and desire is the foundation to a why. It's the only thing that allowed me to have the opportunity to impact thousands of people all over this world is because of the lack of losing my father. It created a desire in me to help people to not to go through their life repeating cycles, or to not go through life with purpose and fire and passion and zeal. And that lack is what actually gave me a why. But you have to know how to respond to the lack, or you'll view the lack as something that should break you versus something that you should use for a breakthrough. Well, I might stand up here in a minute, y'all. Woo! Rex, talk to me, man. I want to hear your why, brother. Hear where you're from. Probably just a nice introduction.
Man, I'm from Texas too. I'm from East Texas, about an hour and a half east of Dallas. Man, my why really is, kind of going off what you said. I grew up in a single parent household, man, and we struggled, and that's kind of where my mindset is I want to have that financial independence to be able to do something with myself and to be able to take care of my mom the way that she took care of me.
So good. So good. I'm gonna do one simple thing. I'm gonna challenge you on one simple thing. I want you to remove the word want from your vocabulary, okay, and I want you to replace it with will. As you spoke to me, there's one thing that stood out to me the most.
Yeah.
The realness of what comes through you, of how much you're convicted by that. It goes deeper than just what you mentioned to me. It probably goes so deep that you can't really articulate on this call what you've really been through, what you've seen, what you've experienced as you were growing up as a kid and even coming into adulthood. So I hear the passion, and I hear the belief, and I hear the belonging that's coming through you as you explain this. But I also hear that your power is actually in your voice. Your power is in your words, right? A lot of us don't understand that what you confess is what you possess, right? And we got to be careful about what comes out of our mouth because your ears are listening.
You're right.
And so it ain't a matter of I want, no, it's I will. And when you start to will, you know what you're really doing? You're creating intention, and you're creating a succinct definition of what you will achieve. There is no more accepting anything else but that. And that's what I want you to do. It's very simple, but it's going to be significant for you because your gift is in your voice. I'm going to go even deeper. That's why you got to be careful about what you say to yourself.
I feel you.
Boy, I feel you too, champ. We got this. I appreciate you opening up and sharing that. Mason, talk to me.
Yes, sir.
What's up, man?
Man, I'm blessed, bro.
What do you want to know?
Just a little introduction, but the more important thing I want to know on this call is like your why, man. Give it to me.
Don't really have a why.
Okay, that's real. That's real. That's real.
I do things because I want, and want is reason enough.
Okay, that's real. We're gonna have that conversation. You okay with that?
I'll have that conversation with myself.
Okay. So you say don't have a why, but you have the want. Talk to me. Give me a little bit more on that.
No, want is reason enough. I just do. I live life on my terms.
Okay.
So I train people in neuro-linguistic programming, cognitive behavioral therapy, hypnotherapy.
Mm-hmm.
I just work with a lot of higher level people.
I could tell by the background, so I was gonna make a comment on that too. You do a lot of video work?
Video, YouTube, yeah. Speaking at events.
Yeah, share your stuff with me. I want to check it out too.
Just Mason Van Meter.
That's the YouTube.
Yep. Train people in NLP to let go of negative emotions, change their mindsets. It's a three-sided ladder. You got character traits and skills as your two legs, and then you have your beliefs as the rungs that you climb up. Most people have the character traits and the skills built up 20 stories high, and the beliefs only 3. They wonder why they can't take the next step. So I work with the unconscious mind.
Because beliefs drive behaviors.
Sometimes I just install habits. I don't believe in setting goals that I have no control over in the future. I'd rather just install habits today that I know it would make it unreasonable for me to not be successful in the time frame that I want to. And by I mean is playing the long game.
Yeah. So why do you
is important? But
why do you do the work that you do?
Why do I? Because there's a lot of broke people out there, and I don't want other people to be one of them.
Okay. That sounds like a why to me, bro.
It's all in how you interpret it. I don't feel like there's a meaning to work. I don't think there has to be a meaning. Whatever you attribute meaning to, who says there's meaning to work? I just say do the boring work.
Okay.
Most people are just spread out too thin with their attention, and they wonder why nothing gets done.
You say that one more time for me. I missed the last part.
Their attention is spread too thin. You only got so much juju up here. When you're placing 5% of your attention on childhood trauma, 5% of your attention on this kid called my light up Skechers ugly in second grade, 5% on this kid made fun of me for having my mom cut my PB&J sandwiches, and we adopt these as our truths, our model of the world. How we see reality is not how reality really is. Your perception is your projection.
Okay. I appreciate that, bro. That's strong. I appreciate it. Elias, talk to me. Give me that why really quick.
My why is my wife. I mean, I would love to. No, I'm sorry. I am going to provide for her in every financial means necessary, and my dreams are her dreams, and we're going to dream them together.
Love it, man. How long you been married?
2 months yesterday.
Let's go. Congrats, man. I'm super happy for you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Alex, talk to me. Not Alex Valdo.
Yeah.
My bad.
Two of them. Yeah, you're good. Yeah. So my name's Oscar Venus. I'm just here at Chico. The why is still in the. I'll be honest, it's still in the works. But I can say this: I've experienced the bottom of completely not having a penny to my name, not having nothing tied to my name, and I can actually say I'm grateful for that because I got to experience what I don't want, and that feeling deep down is what drives me to never feel that again. And I don't know if you know about like generational trauma. I see that in my little brother, and I don't want that in my family. Like I want to be the first one that's going to set the stone so they can look back 100, 200, 300 years. They can look back that I'm the one that set the standard for our family and change that course. So to me, that why I'd feel very good that I left it on the table for that.
How do you deal with adversity?
I wake up every morning and I pray and I speak on gratefulness, being prosperous, and that I'm able to wake up because not everyone has that opportunity. And I stick to my mindset. And then after that, I go straight to the gym with good people I want to be around, and it's just straight positivity from there. Life deserves nothing less than that.
Yeah, I love that. I asked you that question because you talked about breaking generational pathologies. So the resistance that you deal with is not just the resistance of your generation, but it's habits and behaviors and beliefs that would have been ingrained for years, right? And having to basically combat that. But I feel you on that for sure. I feel you on that. We're going to fire through this because I don't want to spend too much time on this, but it's important for me to understand this. Here's why. Insight is very important in development, right? Another word for insight is to know thyself. And a lot of us don't really know why we're doing what we're doing. So it's difficult to really be able to stay consistent with the what and the how. Like this is the truth. As humans, we're all driven by the need to do something. And that comes from the fact that we desire fulfillment as humans. Fulfillment is different than happiness, okay? Happiness is usually connected to a possession, a position, or level of prominence. It's a thing. Fulfillment is being something. It's being whole and complete, not lacking anything. The truth is, when we focus our sights on being fulfilled, everything that we would have chased for happiness now begins to chase us, but it chases a complete us, so it cannot define us. And so we're all driven by something, if that makes sense. Jared, did I get you? Lindsay?
Hey, what's up, Jovan?
What's up, man?
Hey, I'm Jared from Bloomington, Illinois. I've met you down there in Texas, but it's a really good question. I think my why has not always been one consistent why. I think my why has changed over time. My biggest why is I've taken a lot of L's in the past. I don't have any like childhood trauma or anything like that. More self-inflicted traumas, making bad decisions, and I really kind of, my life could have really went a different direction than where it's at now. And I'm very grateful for that. So I'm just chasing that W. So when I got into this, I was obviously got into this for the money, but over time that changes as well. Now, I want to help more people, achieve six figures, and happiness and freedom is more of my why moving forward here. So, but at the end of the day, in the back of my mind, the big why is still, just chasing that W, because like I said, I've had a lot of L's, so I think I'm just trying to overcompensate, for what from the past. So,
you want to write something down for me?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. What you chase?
Got you.
What you chase will always run from you, but what you pursue will find you. I'll break that up. What you chase will always run from you, but what you pursue will find you.
Love that.
Yeah. What's the difference between chasing and pursuing?
When you're chasing, there's really no end goal in mind, but what you're pursuing, you might actually be able to put, in the pursuit of what it is you're chasing, you might actually be able to put a time frame or maybe a gap on that, or a cap on that.
Yeah. Can I go deep really quick? You fine with that?
Absolutely. Please
cool.
do.
Whatever we chase, the truth is, it's our attempt to fill a personal void. But what we pursue is what happens when we operate from value. We can make decisions from two places. Either we're trying to fill a personal void, or we're operating from value, right? The truth is, whenever we try to do something, let me tell you, when my dad first passed, I keep going back to this story. One of my mentors said to me, dude, you're one of the most driven people I've ever met in my life. And this dude is mad successful. So I was like, man, that sounds good coming from him. But the truth is, I was running from something and not to something, right? And the danger in that, even though that might get us started, ultimately, success without peace is torment.
That's actually couldn't have said that better myself. I mean,
so let me help you guys to understand maybe more of my why and how I do what I do. I'm not just going to try to help you to achieve success. I desire for you to also be fulfilled, because it's important for me to make sure that not only are you successful fiscally, but you're also making the family changes that you desire, that when you look into the mirror, you feel a level of peace within who you are, because what you attain in this life is a byproduct of what you do, but what you sustain is connected to who you are. And I know we ain't just trying to attain things, but we're trying to sustain. We'll come back to that though. But whatever you chase will run from you, what you pursue will find you.
Love that.
Yeah. I got you, champ. Jacob, my man. What's up, brother?
What's up, Jovan? How you doing?
I'm good, man. Great.
Man, we met like a week ago, but I swear I feel like we're like this already.
Absolutely.
Shit, man. I got into this for a lot of reasons, but really my why is I'm very self-aware of things, like more self-aware than the average person. And I feel like I owe it to myself, you know? Mm-hmm. Like I kind of have this almost weight on my shoulders, like I owe myself something, you know what I mean? Because I feel like so many times maybe in my life that people only care about themselves for the most part, you know? It's like a survival thing. It's like a dog-eat-dog world. Like people care about themselves first, and then they'll do what they got to do. They make sure they put themselves first. I don't put myself first. I put other people first, and it can be a good thing. It can be a bad thing. But I feel like I've been let down. And it's all about how you look at it. You know what I'm saying? You can change your perspective, and your whole life can change. So that's what I'm working on right now. But I feel like I've been let down so many times that I owe it to myself to not depend on that and not care about the other results. Like I'm in control of me. I'm gonna control me, and I'm gonna make sure I'm good. But I want to make sure everyone else around me is good too, because I feel like some people just care about themselves first and neglect other people. That's not me. Like, if everyone around me is good, I'm good.
Yeah, that's good.
So I owe it to myself, I think.
Really quick, the definition of disappointment is this: unmet expectations. That's what disappointment is.
Expectations, I feel like kill everything. You know what I mean? I don't have control. I don't have control over what I don't have control over. So why am I trying to control it?
Right.
When you set up high expectations, that's just a setup for failure. So, I watch what I say on a day-to-day basis now. I write everything out. I'm very conscious of that, and most people aren't. It's just a working thing, man. It's just, it's trial and error.
I got you. And it's a journey. It's a journey. Write this down for me. Don't allow the people who have disappointed you. So write this down for me. Don't allow the people who have disappointed you. Don't allow the people who have disappointed you to cause you to disappoint the people who need you.
Say that one more time.
Don't allow the people who have disappointed you to cause you to disappoint the people who need you.
See, and that's another thing. You cannot let the world change you, because then they won. Like, you go through something that it's a domino effect.
Yeah.
If someone cuts me off in traffic, now I'm pissed. Now I'm gonna go home and talk to my girl crazy, and then she's gonna talk to her, and it's a domino effect. You can change the world by holding the door for someone. You know what I mean? So like one person's disappointment, I can flip that around and change someone else's day in a better way, and it's a domino effect.
I remember a point in my life, where I kept getting disappointed and hurt, right? And I remember being in the gym one day, and I'm like, man, I'm tired of this. I'm about to change the way I do what I do. I'm about to change my strategy. And what I realized in that moment is that I didn't need to change who I am. What I needed to do, I needed to manage what I give. Get a glass of water when you can. And I want you to realize something. You're like a glass of water, right? And the water in it represents your expectation and it represents your input. You can't pour the same thing into everything, right? You got to manage what you pour. And that's really the essence of emotional intelligence and growing in that right. How can I manage what I'm pouring so I manage also what I'm expecting? We'll go a little bit deeper on that. So Tara, did I say your name right? I hope I didn't butcher that.
Yeah. What's up, man?
What's up,
First of all, thanks for doing this. It's super powerful. But I think my why, honestly, when I first came in, it was for the money, obviously, like a lot of people. But I'm part-time. I'm a full-time Border Patrol agent. So as a kid, I grew up with parents that worked a lot. They provided every single thing that we could ever want, but they were always not in the home. And I kind of fell into that same path with my family. And this is going to give me an opportunity to be home with my kids. So, time is my.
You went mute, but yeah, I got that. Thank you for that, brother. Okay. I want to get to why I'm on this call today. So let me get through the rest of the gang here. I got Juan Ramirez. If you're not in a position to talk, because I don't know if the camera's off because you're not able to talk, that's totally fine. You could drop something in the chat.
Yeah,
there he is. What's up, man?
what's up?
I'm good. Just going around getting everybody's why.
My why? Basically providing for my family. So, our parents and stuff are growing older each day. So there's going to be a day where I'm like, y'all don't have to work anymore because I guess y'all got everything taken care of, like a new house and stuff. Because they've always wanted like land and all this other stuff. So I just want to be able to provide that for them. And I don't think having to work like a normal 9 to 5 will get me there. So, yeah.
Solid. It's a family. Jared, talk to me. You're next. Jared King.
What's happening?
What's up, man?
You know, I'm still trying to find my why. I mean, I got a family. I got a wife and 3 kids I love, deeply. So obviously providing for them is number one. But I'm still trying to search for something that's just really going to push me to the next level. If you know what I mean?
That's real. Love that. I'll come back to you. Dallin is next up. I know some folks joining as we go, so we're just going through and really just a small introduction and your why. Just kind of laying the foundation for where I want to go today.
Yeah, you hear me?
Yep, can hear you.
Yeah. My why, growing up, I've actually had everything I probably wanted. Parents are very, very successful. So my why is kind of not necessarily like cutting the apron strings from my parents, but just kind of finding fulfillment in my own success, I guess.
That's good.
I do kind of, I'm kind of underneath them in a way, but I feel like this is something I want to pursue. And what I do, I'm not home a lot, so this would provide that, especially with got a kid on the way. So
Congrats,
just kind of find fulfillment on my own, I guess.
Yeah, it's good. Daniela.
Hi,
Hi, Daniela.
how are you doing?
I'm doing really good. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, of course. So my why would be to provide back and give back to my family. That's always been a goal for me. They've always been hardworking. My mom at one point growing up, she was working 2 jobs. I wasn't able to see her as much. And I just want to be able to give back to her everything that she's given to me.
I love that.
Thank
That's
you.
awesome. Thank you. I got Al and then Drew and then Enhance Foundation is the name. I'm sorry if I'm not saying your name right. And then Michaela. All right, Al, talk to me. Your why.
My why. I have 2 little ones. I'm a single dad of 2. I got into the industry in 2009, and I know there's success in this, but I just haven't experienced it yet. So I know that as long as I just keep focus and just change up my old habits, I'll find it. So right now, just dealing with a lot of pressure. So I know I can go 2 directions. Allow the pressure to push me forward or bring me further down. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sensing a lot of like negative pressure, and I don't like it. It doesn't feel good. So I'm just here to be an example, because I have a lot of people that I want to bring into this opportunity, but I know that they're gonna have to see it in me first. You know what I'm saying? So, I just got to make it happen. Got to make it happen.
Man, hats off to you, man. Yeah, we'll talk about pressure in a minute. That's good.
I appreciate
it. And then Drew and Michaela, and then we're ready to fire off here.
Yeah, man. So my why, I just want to have an impact on people's lives. I work a W-2 job where my impact is not really something that I can see on a day-to-day basis. So I just want to get out there and have an impact on people, and hopefully make people believe that, their life is better because of the interactions that we had. And I hope that I get something from the things that I do with these people.
Love it, man. And Michaela, I think that's the last one. And then, no, I'm sorry, Enhanced Foundation. I'm sorry, I keep calling you Enhanced Foundation. It's Stephanie.
Sorry, I got my phone on too much. It's like Is that working better?
Yep, much better.
Okay, cool. Well, when I first started, my why was just to help out Gage, because I know when he first started, he was struggling, and I just felt like it's kind of more ego-based. So I was like, if I help it, I'll be able to help him succeed. And then, as I really got more passionate about this, it truly just became being able to make, kind of what Drew said, make an impact on our team and help other people succeed without having to have a college degree or having to do all these extravagant things to have a successful life for their family. So that's really what it's become.
I love that.
Thank you for coming on.
Absolutely. All right, let's fire off, because I want to share with you what was on my heart to share this morning. I know it's kind of last minute, but I'm excited just for the opportunity to walk you guys through something that changed my entire life. Whether we know it or not, and we talked in the beginning about the power of lack, right? And how lack actually creates desire in us, and that responding to that desire is what fuels our why. Every single person on this call is driven by something. That's the truth, right? We either want to, as we say on this list, give back to my family in such a way I want to create for the family that's to come, all these different things. But as we go through life, right, the picture of the why becomes a little bit smaller when the picture of the how and the what becomes a little bit bigger. I don't believe that most of us lose that why. And I believe that all of us have a why. And I'll break that down in a minute for you. But I believe that what happens is that the picture of the how and the what gets bigger. How am I going to do this while I'm facing these obstacles? How am I going to provide for these kids while I'm slow in my income? How am I, when the picture of the how and the what becomes bigger than the picture of the why, we sometimes feel like we lose that why and we end up going through the motions, but not actually making movements, right? We end up existing, but not living. We end up surviving, but not thriving. My goal today on this call is to help you guys to rejuvenate your why. I want to help you to rejuvenate your why. I want to help you to reconnect to that why so that you can reignite your fire and that you can reestablish your focus. And if you realize I'm using the prefix re, because I don't believe that we lose our power. I believe that what we lose is our perspective. Let me say it again. I don't believe that we always lose our power. I believe that what we lose is our perspective. Here's the first thing that you gotta do if you're going to rejuvenate that why, or if you're gonna get to the point where you have clarity, connection, and conviction to the why. The first thing we gotta talk about is your desire. One of the interesting things that as I work through like with leaders, I always say, man, does anybody here believe that you are born with the desire to lead? That people are born with the desire to lead? Anybody believe that? Yep, we got one hand. No. Okay. Two. Okay. I don't believe that we're born with the desire to lead. I believe that we're born with the desire to make an impact. Leadership is the responsibility that we inherit based on the magnitude of that desire. Let me say it again. That we have the desire to make an impact. Leadership is just a responsibility that we inherit based on the magnitude of that desire. Okay? So when we talk about rejuvenating the desire, what I'm really focused on is the desire for impact. Because it's hard to have a desire to make impact when you ain't getting that direct deposit. It's hard to make a desire to impact when you're disappointed by the same people that you'll have to help to actually complete your mission and purpose. Come on, somebody. It's hard to have the desire to do when these different obstacles stand in your way. So I want us to just go through really quick, and I want us to be transparent about, what are some of the obstacles that you feel like you are having or that you've had that are really robbing you from the desire to make the impact that you want to make? Some people might say it's a lack of resources. Some people say, man, I just don't have the knowledge. I don't have the clarity. But let's talk really quick. What are some of the things that are holding you, that you believe is holding you back from making the impact that you desire to make?
Fear. I think one of them is big is fear of failing.
Solid. Fear of failing. So really quick, because most people, if we're honest with ourselves and we look through the foundational, really the truth of why we or what we're struggling with, to some degree, we can see a fear of failure. Here's where I want to go with this. It's important for us to define what failure really means. A lot of the times we have these words that control our lives, but we don't have a definition of what does it really mean to fail, right? So give me your definition around failure.
I guess not. I mean, for me, it'd probably be not living or not hitting the goals. I would say not meeting the expectations of myself or what my peers or what my family thinks I should be.
So good. So the definition of failure that you have is not hitting the goals or the desires or the things that your family think you should or that you think you should. Okay? But I want you to ask yourself something. What if your thinking is wrong? What if your family's thinking is wrong? I believe that a lot of times what we call failure is something that we're aiming for that was either too small or not the right thing or not the right time. There's three reasons sometimes that we run into things. It's too small. That we're gonna argue that here in a minute. Some people are like, if I fail at it, it means that I was too small. Sometimes we go after something that we're already grown out of, or we're already grown past, but we're going after it because it's connected to a norm. It's what we have always done, right? And so we rather go after something that's more comfortable, if that makes sense, than something that's uncomfortable. But it's important for us to define failure. And the way you defined it was not accomplishing the thing or the goal. But a lot of times we don't think about the fact that what if the goal or the thing is wrong? What if it's too small? What if it's the wrong time? Here's where I'm going with this. If I sat here and told you that everything I was going after, I actually accomplished what it looked like, I would be lying to you. It never looks like what I think it was supposed to look like. So I learned to write my goals down with a pencil and not a pen. I learned that my goals become more of a compass that just gives me direction of where to shoot, but it doesn't become an absolute thing that I'm like, yes, when I accomplish that. Here's why. Because sometimes our goals are limitations on what we can actually achieve. If I ask you guys right now, how much money you want to make this year? 100K, 150, 250. Why that number? Like, where do we pull these numbers from? Versus saying, all right, if 250 is a benchmark, I already got the benchmark out the way. What I need to be asking myself now is, how do you accomplish that? And I fall more in love with the process. Like, the process becomes my goal versus this tangible number becoming the reason that's going to validate if I've achieved or if I've arrived. It's a perfect example in my life. Y'all, I've been trying to work on a six-pack for like the last year, right? But here's the thing that I do. I go to the gym for a week or two, and then I look in the mirror and I'm like, damn, it ain't happened yet, right? And then I go 3 weeks later and I look again and I'm like, damn, it ain't happened yet. But then I sort of ask myself, all right, are you eating right? Are you sleeping? Are you focused on dieting? Are you doing the crunches? Are you doing these things consistently? Because when I become more in love with the process and use the goal just as a benchmark, where I was aiming for 6, I now get 8. Does that make sense? So sometimes we use these words like failure and all these things, and we don't really take a step back to ask ourselves, yo, what is failure? We just defined it as not achieving the thing that we set out to achieve. But we very seldom sit back to say, what if the thing that I was going after was the wrong thing, the wrong time, or too small? We don't challenge ourselves in thinking, maybe I was aiming at something that wasn't the thing. So I believe, because there's a definition for success is failure plus perseverance. And I truly believe that, right? That everything that I am to this day is things that have not gone the way that I thought it should go. But I saw the comment, failure is feedback. Agree 100%, right? It's being able to learn from these things that allows us to gain insight. Insight is super powerful. But give me something else really quick as we're thinking through this.
Yo, Jovan, I want to add on that.
Sure.
So I think it's all about perception. You know, you think you failed. I don't think there's such thing as failure. I think everything can be a lesson. You know what I mean? Because you know, if your life's falling apart, well, you think it's falling apart and everything is going wrong, you don't know what's on the other side. The time isn't there yet. You're just here right now. Every bad day you've ever had, you're still here. It blew away in the wind. It went away. So you think everything's falling. You think you failed and this and that. It's just the time frame. You got to look at it as a lesson, keep it moving, and everything's going to turn out how it's supposed to. It's not on your time. It's on God's time, the universe's time, whatever you believe in. It's not on your time. You know what I mean? So I think it's about perception, really.
Write this down, guys. Success is not what you accomplish. It's who you become in the pursuit of your accomplishments. It's not just about what you accomplish, let me put it that way, but it's also who you become in the pursuit of your accomplishments. Guys, as you go through this journey of really being able to rejuvenate your why, and I got to get to my first point here. What I got, 8 minutes, Gabe?
You got as long as you need, man.
Oh, man. As we talk through just really getting to our accomplishments, we have to understand that success is not just about getting there. True success is staying there. And how we stay there is by who we become on the journey of getting there. And so failure, this is my definition of failure. What failure really is, it's truly the process of refining you so that you can be the person that you need to be to manage the magnitude of what you're going after. That might have just changed somebody's life. It is about refining you so that you can be the person that you need to be to manage the magnitude. I know we can all think about somebody who got to a level of success. I work with NFL teams. I can think about players all the time who hit to a certain level of success or get money overnight and make 1 or 2 bad decisions that ruins their entire life. It's not that they didn't have the skills to attain that contract, but they didn't have the mindset, heart set, and skill set necessary to sustain the magnitude of what was entrusted to them. You got to ask yourself a real question. I know what I'm going after, or you may know what you're going after, but are you the person that you need to be to manage the magnitude of what comes with what you're going after? That's a real question. And that's where we have opportunities to grow. We can't really look at, to Jacob's point, we can't blame everybody else for why we're not where we need to be, or look at everybody else for what they need to do. We have to ask ourselves, man, I'm trying to build this generational wealth, but I'm waking up at 8:30 in the morning. Man, I'm trying to impact my family's life, but I'm coming up, I'm going through this opportunity passively, but I'm expecting progressive returns. It don't work like that. What you reap is what you sow. That principle will never change. And we can't show up thinking just by being here, we should get the result. That don't work. You can't just be in proximity to it, but not apply yourself to it and actually get the result that's necessary. So here's where I'm going with this. It's really asking myself, like, I know what I'm going after, but am I the person that I need to be to manage the magnitude of what I'm going after? Let's go. What else? Talk to me.
Mine,
go ahead, Jared.
I would say definitely mine. What is keeping me from reaching my goals of just being honest with myself is just the structure. Just not what you say. I'm not. I mean, I feel like I'm attaining the results on, with whatever amount of effort I put into it. But to attain my ultimate goal, to help others really make their mark, is I got to be more intentional with that, and a lot of that comes with structure. And it's just not something that I've taken serious enough at this point. I need to give myself non-negotiables, and at this point I haven't done that.
What's keeping you from doing that?
I mean, just a poor habits, I guess. I mean, for the longest time before this, I was up every day at 4:30 in the morning for however long, going out and running a crew, building wind farms. And now that I have distractions, now that I have the ability to go to sleep and wake up when I want, it's just I got to get back in those good habits.
Yeah. I love it. It's a little bit deeper than habits. Couple of things to think about, right? Because you use the word distraction. Write this down for me. Without a vision, you will be destroyed by distraction. Without a vision, you'll be destroyed by distraction. The challenge may be for you, Jared, is that your vision has become more of a goal. Here's the difference. If a vision is something that you can achieve in ease, it's not a vision, it's a goal. What I mean by that is that what you're aiming for is not stretching you enough. It's not demanding something of you that is past your comfort zone, right? That you have to rewrite what you're going after. Maybe as I think about your why, let me go back here. Did you say it's changed over time? That
Yes, it did. Yeah, it's changed over time for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's the why now?
So my why now, is ultimately still, just still chasing that W. I guess for overcompensation of all the L's I've taken in the past due to my own, bad decisions.
Boom.
But ultimately,
Got it. Don't even mean to cut you off, brother. Got it. Your why is about you. That's why it doesn't push you.
Mhm.
The why is about you trying to rewrite your wrongs, and that's what's wrong with it. Because, go ahead, man.
No, honestly, it makes sense.
But why have you gone through the things that you've gone through if you're not going to use the things that you've gone through to help others not go through it? So maybe we need to really be thinking now is how do I empower a young Jared or younger Jareds or other Jareds to not make the same decisions that I made as a result of being in a better, utilizing the issues or the mistakes that I've made to do something with it. Your why has to get out of you trying to right your wrong, because here's why. You're trying to accomplish destiny by living in your history. Impossible. It's like driving a car forward and looking in the rearview mirror and trying to figure out why you keep running into stuff, right? But you really need to sit down in time and introspection and ask yourself like, yo, seriously, why am I getting up every single day? What is my meaning? What's my purpose to this? And if that has become about you, this is why I'm telling you why it can't be about you. It'll live or die by how you feel that day. So if you feel fired up, tell me if I'm wrong, you're locked in, you're like, let's go. But the minute that feeling goes, and now the feeling of pain, not knowing, all these things come in, then it's easier to kind of be like, all right, we'll get back here to another day. That's what we need to do, bro. We need to stretch that why, because it's not about you. You went through what you went through for others, but how are you utilizing it to help us to not make those mistakes? You know what I'm saying?
I feel you 100%.
Okay.
It's true.
We can fire off on two more things, and then I want to honor you guys this time. I know Gage, tell me and keep going, but I want to honor your time.
I have one more thing, Jovan.
Please.
Basically, the reason I said I struggled a little with the why is you brought up like the NFL players, right? When they attain that contract, you've seen NFL players struggle, right? Once they've achieved that success and to sustain it. But like to me, like that's why I've struggled with my why. It's like, right, we have these goals and we drive to them, but once we get there, is that like truly going to be our happiness? Like you said, we drive to this destination and the view is not what we thought it was, or that experience was. And that was that. Like that's to me is why I really struggle to find why, because it's like what I'm striving for, is that really what's going to make me happy? Like is that if I get the $1 million, right, for example, is that really going to make me like happy? Like I think that's where I've struggled, is like what's deep down, like where I can look back and say like I got here and I'm happy because I did.
That's so real. It's important to define it. Here's where I'm going with this. Just like I told my friend, you got to define failure. You always have to define success for you. The truth is, for most of us, we're running with other people's definition of success, and that's what we're aiming for. And success to us is what we've seen our family go after, what we've seen they achieve, but we haven't clearly defined what success means to us. If you don't define what success means to you, you'll get to the end of your life realizing that you live somebody else's life. It's important for you to really get deep on what does success mean for you. I want to hit something here because it's I keep saying it's the reason I'm on this call. We gotta do this again, but we gotta take our time. Guys, there's not a person on this call that's not supposed to be here. That's not supposed to be in this moment on this call. And you guys have this opportunity in your hands. And what I think I want to get across the most is how are you maximizing and utilizing the opportunity that's in your hand? Because the result is not just about the opportunity, it's about the person who is plugged into the opportunity. You heard it this way, one person's trash is another person's what? Treasure, right? So the question that I want to ask you guys, how are you utilizing this opportunity? Here's why I'm saying this. There's not a person here that didn't give me a why that requires for you to do something that is bigger than you if you're going to accomplish that why. Like you guys talk about breaking generational pathologies, talk about providing for your family, giving back to them, talk about taking back your time, freedom, talk about being able to impact lives. You know, some say, Jovan, I don't know my why yet, or I don't have a why. But when you think about what you're looking to achieve, right, you have to ask yourself, how am I going to practically do it? And so the opportunity that you have right now in front of you is more than, if you grasp really what is entrusted to you, more than what you need to accomplish what it is that you're going after. But the truth is, we sometimes can be so passive with the opportunity because we're more focused on the what and the how than the why. I got to disagree with my brother Mason here, respectfully. I think it is dangerous to focus on the what and the how and not stay connected to the why, because you will perform at a high level and you'll attain, but from a sustainability standpoint, and watch this, to attain it and to be fulfilled while doing it, there has to be alignment between that why and the what. So here's just where I want to hammer home, and I want to give you guys one thing to think about as you talk about rejuvenating your impact. You need 3 types of people in your life. Ready for it? People who need me, people who feed me, and people who release me. Write it down. People who need me, people who feed me, and people who release me. You don't have to go looking for people who need you, right or wrong. Everybody here at least mentioned 1 or 2 people that, like, they find me. I got family, I got people that I provide for. But very few people have people who feed me. Those are people who help you intellectually, stimulate you mentally, and from a business perspective, people who pour into you. And that's what I love about, you know, what I hear here when I'm even in my office. You guys have such an interesting culture that you're building that. Like, you have intentionality between people who feed you. But if you're only getting fed here, you're kind of robbing yourself of the opportunity to really grow the way you need to grow to accomplish this why. And then the last people who release you, that's like my wife who tells me to go ride on a scooter. I'm like, yo, you tripping. I got to take over this world. I don't got time to be riding on no scooter. But I'll be honest with y'all, the first time we went together and I was mad. The second time we went, I wasn't that mad. The third time I went without her because it was the best experience of my life, right? Here's why I'm saying that, because if you're going to accomplish this and if you're going to do this in a real way, you have to also be able to disconnect so that you can reconnect, right? So you need 3 types of people in your life: feed me, need me, release me. I think I got a worksheet I'll give you guys here, something that you could just kind of take inventory of. But I just want to stop. G, I got time with you now, so I'm going over into your time. But any questions that you guys have specifically? Because obviously I can get on here and share a lot of information, but for it to be succinct, I have to make sure that I'm answering actual questions you guys have, because I want to leave you guys with something real, right? Something that you can truly latch on to today to just help you to go to the next level in your life.
One of the questions I always feel like I have for myself, so you might be able to answer it, is like, where to start. It's like, okay, we have all these concepts and all these great like things flowing, but it's like, okay, what's the tangible thing to do to step 1 to get you to the next level?
100%. If we think about this from overarching standpoint, and then we get really specific with daily, here's what I would recommend doing in steps. Number 1 thing, I think it's important to spend some time and really write down 3 to 5 of your core values. These are 3 to 5 things that are like your absolute truths: honesty, integrity, service. When you think about who you are and what is your truth to some degree, you got to build that foundation, right? From there, I think it's important to establish a vision for your life. Like, what is it? What do I want to actually do with my life? Like, what impact do I want to make, right? From your vision, you start writing down your objectives. Some people call them goals. I call them objectives or benchmarks, because they truly help you to at least have something to do on a day, like some place that you're aiming at. Because whatever you aim for, you'll hit. If you aim for something, you'll hit it. If you aim for nothing, you'll hit it. All right. Practically every single day, 7 minutes of solitude, I think is a powerful thing. My focus here every day is, number 1, I want to know how I'm feeling. So that's the first question I'm asking. Jovan, how are you feeling? Second thing is why. Some people do this in a journal. The third thing is setting an intention for the day. Like, what am I actually looking to accomplish as it relates to those goals? Because remember, you started with values to vision to objectives or goals to now daily routine and habits. So I'm setting that intention. And then from that, I'm talking about gratitude. I spend that time in gratitude. So I'm not giving you anything too profound. I'm giving you something super simple. And then at the end of the day, always doing some reflection. Now I'm doing that for 30 days because what I'm really trying to gain is insight, trying to understand, hey, how am I spending my time? What are some things that I'm realizing are habits that need to be broken, essentially? I think that's the first thing that I would recommend is setting those values, having that vision. For 30 days, just apply yourself to at least that 7 minutes of solitude and that reflection every day. And from that, maybe you're journaling or maybe you're taking down some kind of notes, you'll begin to realize patterns. You'll begin to realize thought patterns in different things. And that insight is what you use to understand where you actually need to start to take your life to the next level. Sometimes we end up going after implementation without insight, and that's why we're ineffective. So we grab books or listen to podcasts and we just read anything that feels good versus reading and listening to things that actually align with what we need most, if that makes sense. But you need to first have a very clear snapshot on where am I, why am I here, who am I, where am I going? That type of stuff is what you gain from insight. Does that help a bit? All right, plug away 3-4 more questions and I'm out of here.
Alex asked, what are some things you ask yourself?
Some questions that I ask myself. So I don't necessarily spend too much time asking myself a lot of questions. I spend a lot of time listening to the people who are closest to me and asking myself, you know, when there's a response or something happens. So like for my wife example, right? I'm always asking myself, what can I be doing better? Or what kind of energy or things that I give off that's affecting her ability to thrive in this space? Here's what I mean. It's like introspection to some degree. I'm more outward with it before I go inward. Because sometimes if I go inward first, I will fall into trying to be perfect when that's not even possible, right? So for me personally, I got this. I'll give Gage this book to bring home to you. I got a book called Take Back Your Power, and it's a book of questions, literally that. And it says questions, and there's the different thoughts that kind of come through it. But I give him a signed copy for you. Yeah.